by Justin Parkinson, BBC News. Hello. Here's your morning briefing. May to attack Brexit doomsayers. Image copyright. House of Commons round 5 of the Brexit talks begins today in Brussels, and Theresa May will strike an upbeat note when she gives a statement to the House of Commons later. The Prime Minister will warn MPs not to listen to doomsayers who have complained about the rate of progress so far, and say she hopes for a positive response from other EU countries to the proposals she laid out in her speech in Florence last month. This week's discussions are the last before the EU summit on the 19th of October. The BBC's Adam Fleming, in Brussels, says there's cautious optimism there on reaching an agreement on how British judges might interact with the European Court of Justice. But, he adds, there is less of this regarding discussions on citizens' rights and the UK's financial obligations, the so-called Brexit bill. In case you'd like a reminder, here's all you need to know about Brexit. Unity rally in Barcelona last week. There were huge protests across Catalonia in favour of independence from Spain. But the region has seen counter-demonstrations by those wanting to maintain ties to Madrid. At least 350,000 people in the Catalan capital, Barcelona, took to the streets, some carrying banners with the messages, "Together we are stronger" and "Catalonia is Spain." There had been speculation that Catalan President Carles Puigdemont and his supporters were ready unilaterally to declare independence this week, but it now looks more likely that, in a speech on Tuesday, Mr. Puigdemont will simply outline steps towards achieving his goal. Get news from the BBC in your inbox. Each weekday morning. Rise in reported child-on-child sex offence figures collected by the BBC's Panorama show a large increase in the number of reported sexual offences by under-18s on other under-18s in England and Wales. They rose by 71% from 4,603 in 201,314 to 7,866 in 201,617. The figures came from a Freedom of Information request, to which 38 out of 43 forces responded. Incidents reported within schools also increased. "We are dealing unequivocally with the tip of the iceberg," said Simon Bailey, the National Police Chief Lead for Child Protection. What Rohingya Crisis? By Anne Barasanathirujan, BBC News. Yangon, Myanmar. More than 500,000 Rohingya Muslims have fled across the border to Bangladesh since militants attacked police posts on the 25th of August, unleashing a massive military crackdown. The Burmese authorities have been under mounting pressure to end the violence, address instability in Rakhine, and grant humanitarian access. But the country's biggest city is a picture of calm on the surface, with clean roads, plenty of greenery and orderly if congested traffic. Well-dressed men and women get on with their daily lives. People here don't use the term Rohingya. They are portrayed in the media as Bengali Muslims, and some even describe them as illegal Bengali immigrants from Bangladesh. Read the full article. What the papers say. The Daily Telegraph warns of pound coin chaos, as shops and other businesses ignore the Royal Mint's deadline to stop accepting the old round version. And Brexit gets plenty of coverage, with talks starting again today in Brussels. The I says Theresa May is to threaten Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson with the sack if he does not toe the line, while The Guardian reports that pro-Brexit Tory MPs are angry with Chancellor Philip Hammond for displaying gloom over the prospect of leaving the EU. Meanwhile, the Daily Mail says declaring one's sex could be made optional in the next census. Daily Digest. Mills. Companies that help students cheat for degrees face university ban. Sexual harassment claims. Film producer Harvey Weinstein sacked by board of his company's Aerosmith inquiry to look into sexual abuse claims against late MP. Blade Runner 2049 sequel. The cult classic disappoints at U.S. box office. If you watch One Thing Today, the urban schoolboy sailors. If you listen to One Thing Today, the relationship between dads and daughters. If you read One Thing Today, the man who hired his mom as head chef. Today's look ahead. 1415 Green Coal leader Jonathan Bartley gives his speech to the party's annual conference in Harrogate. 1945 Wales play the Republic of Ireland in their last World Cup qualifying group match, with the winner guaranteed at least a place in the playoffs for a place in the tournament in Russia next summer. On this day 1959, Conservative Harold Macmillan leads his party to a third consecutive general election victory, beating Labour by more than 100 seats. From elsewhere. The terrible history of men fighting bears. Vice. What happens if honeybees disappear? National Geographic. No philosophy lessons improve school grades. Sydney Morning Herald. My friend Kazuo Ishiguro. Guardian.